Hey guys, BlueCommander here and welcome back to another video. And yes, you read the title correctly. I got you guys to recreate all of the swords, armor, and tools in just half a day. How? Well, in this video you'll find out. And that's not even it. This episode, we also tackle the entire collection system, as well as some other small bits and pieces. If this is the first episode you've seen, this is the series where I attempt to recreate Hypixel Skyblock using just vanilla features such as command blocks, resource packs, etc. However, unlike Hypixel, we won't be using any plugins. The advantages of doing this is theirs won't work on single players, whereas ours will. And most importantly, I can put this up for download for solo players or just small groups of friends wanting to host a mini Skyblock. Speaking of which, I have an extremely exciting announcement, which I know you'll be very hyped to hear. Are you ready? We have the go-ahead from Hypixel staff to release the project. As lots of you want to play this as soon as possible, I'm going to be releasing the project in different updates rather than waiting until everything's completed. This means we will likely have an actual release, albeit quite lacking in features originally, within the next couple of months. So, make sure you join my Discord server in the description of this video and sign up for notifications by reacting to this pinned message in the Skyblock remake area. On there I'll be doing beta testing, polls on what I should do next, answering your questions and sneak peeks on progress before the video comes out, so you don't want to miss it. We're currently very oversubscribed with beta testers, so in the future I'll be doing some sort of cycle where I'll remove inactive beta testers for new ones. But if you want to be a beta tester right now, when this video comes up, I'll be launching a giveaway for 5 new beta testers, so good luck if you enter that. Also, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe. The dream for this year is hitting 10,000 subscribers by the end. It's episode 4 now, and in the last episode, over 60% of you weren't subscribed, even after enjoying 3 episodes worth. Anyway, enough of that, let's start recreating with the most content-filled episode yet. The first thing I had in mind for this video was to create some items, weapons and armor more specifically. I already had most of the stat system made in episode 2, so I can easily add some tags to an item like this. And as you can see, if I hold this item I quickly made in 2 seconds, it now gives me the correct stat bonuses. In fact, the part which will be a lot of work when making these new items is actually creating these long descriptions. And to help speed this up, I think I have an idea. Making a generator. While you see this generator in the background, there's a couple of reasons why I think this is the best option to go down. Firstly, I've already made generators before, so I'm pretty comfortable with getting reasonably good ones done in not too much time. So it should save time considering there's now hundreds of items I need to make. Secondly, there's this awesome GitHub project already existing which lets you generate images of Hypixel tooltips. Although this won't help me to create the generator command, and there's lots of features missing from it, I still absolutely love the design, and the image preview is really cool, so hopefully they won't mind me using some of their CSS and code. And finally, the main thing that convinced me is if I create a generator, it means you guys can create your own custom items when it comes out. So this means if I add it to my website, we can have a system where people can kind of mod their own Skyblocks, if that makes sense. Let me know what you think of this idea, because I think it sounds pretty awesome. And with that, we've created our first version. I probably forgot at least one thing, but for now, it's everything I can think of that we'll need to create all of the swords, armor and tools. I'll have to add more stuff in the generator for other items in the future. So let me give you a nice tour. At the top, you can see we have all the symbols which you might need in descriptions, such as defense, speed, etc. And a message letting you know that you can use Minecraft color codes and use \n for new lines. Helpful stuff. As for creating the actual item, first you need to enter the item ID I want. This thing. For now, I can also ignore the MBT option, and now I can choose a name. Let's call it the blue sword, for example. And then we can give it a type. So I'll quickly pick sword, we can give it a description. We can choose its rarity, including an option to create custom rarities, which I also got from the other GitHub project too, so shout out to them again. And the last thing in general is whether a specific Slayer is required to use it. So we won't need this for now as I haven't actually built in the system for Slayer in my own project. But you know, I'm kind of just preparing for the future, so when I do add Slayer, all of the items already have all the data they need. And if I scroll down, you can see it's already generated me a give command, and it has this super cool preview. But we can go further. I can also choose to give the item all the different stats here, which we've got fully implemented and working from episode 2, as I said. By the way, this attack speed stat is also new to the data pack this episode. I didn't previously add it because I didn't even know it existed, but then searching through some more images of items I realised I actually did, so you know, it's now in the game. And this also used the same way I did speed, using an item in the offhand, which lots of you actually pointed out to me in my Discord server I won't actually need anymore. In the 1.16 snapshots they added a /attribute command, which will let me do everything I wanted to do with the offhand slot, but without having to use the offhand slot. So now I'll be able to give players speed and the attack speed without actually having to replace the offhand, which is great. Great job, Mojang. This means we don't have to use the previously quite hacky technique for when we update to the snapshots or the full release anyway. That I'll probably be doing next episode. Back to the generator. The last 3 categories are for the different abilities. The generator won't actually be able to create the abilities for me, nor will it be able to add any crafting recipes or make it obtainable in the game, but these options are very useful for writing the long descriptions in, and also adding lots of the important information which I said. So let's quickly copy our command, paste it into our Skyblock world, and as you can see, I have the item which looks just like the Skyblock item. And when I hold it, I also get the stats. Awesome. Before I start creating the real items though, later on in this video, there's a couple of other things I want to implement / fix first. One of those things being, I haven't actually got armor to work in our stat system yet, despite the generator already being fully functional. Somehow, because I genuinely don't know how I've managed this, I've made it so when players equip armor, it just gets removed by mistake. So oops. And by adding a single number to a command, we can now equip armor. Now I just need to implement the stat bonuses like speed, strength, etc. to work with the armor, and not just when you're holding an item. So be right back. Alrighty, so if I give myself some fake gear which I just created, such as this health armor and this updated strength sword from episode 2, as you can see it all works. While we're on the topic of player stats, Hypixel added a magic find stat to the profiling head in the menu, which is used to increase your chances of getting rare mob drops. I've quickly given all players a default magic score and added it to the menu, but we'll have to add custom mobs and the actual magic find functionality later on in some other video. Now, time for something completely different to stats and items. Last episode we created a unique scoreboard for all islands. So why don't we add something to it before the first beta comes out? I was considering doing the location, but instead I'm going to do the coins, as they'll be the most tricky I think. We could easily add player coins here, but that's not what Hypixel's done. Thanks Hypixel. So instead we're going to have to try find a way to put them here. There's several problems coming out of trying to do this, mainly because this isn't meant to be where values go, this is meant to be for names. So A, we need to find a way to change the colour from white to red. B, we need to create a space in between the value and the name somehow. And C, we need to actually get the coins here somehow. A can be solved by using some weird formatting character code. This took me a while to figure out, as it doesn't actually work if you try to do it in game. However, luckily for us, if you put it in a data pack, it actually works. So that's A done. For problem B, I remember someone ages ago, I'm really sorry, I don't remember who you were anymore, was DMing me about the sidebar and pointed out that we could use teams. Luckily that information has stuck with me because it was literally our only chance of adding this space after the colon. To do this, I created a fake purse player, as well as the team for each scoreboard. By making the fake player join this team, we can do a variety of things by modifying the team. The one we're interested in is adding a suffix, and this will include our space and the value which goes afterwards in red. So, with that all out the way, that just leaves problem C. Technically the only way we can put the player coins here is by doing something called hard coding, which means I would need a command for every single number. Like this. I'm sure you can imagine, that is extremely intensive and will lag out literally anyone, as it's over 100 million commands in 1/20th of a second, and that's every single time someone picks up a coin. The first thing I've done to reduce this is use abbreviations. So say you had 1,500 coins, it will now say 1k. Say you had 555 million, it would just change to saying 55M. This seems like a massive bummer at first, but you need to remember most people don't store large amounts of coins in their purse and would mainly keep it in their bank. Therefore the abbreviations won't come too much of an issue I don't think. And besides, there's still some more snapshots before 1.16's release, so there might be a chance something more useful comes out in them, like the /attribute command. My main priority with this creation is performance, and even with abbreviations we're still running a lot of commands. To fix this, I also separated these commands into a function tree, which is where you split a file full of commands into lots of subfiles like this. To do that, I created a custom Python script that read all of my commands and then converted it, after probably days worth of trying to figure out how to do that in Python. This is mathematically the most efficient way to run commands. So now we've managed to reduce what was originally 100 million commands to approximately just 30 when a player picks up an item, which is more than manageable. Another massive thing that needs to be worked on before the beta is collections. Implementing all these was originally going to be my main task of this video, probably about 85% of the content of this video. However, only a couple of days ago, I had the idea which you read in the title of this video, and obviously more people will care about that. So now I'm having to condense all of my bulk of this video into less than half. So, are you ready? Let's start with what we originally had, not a lot. In episode 1, we created a list of categories as well as their pages, but all of these values in the menu are static, and that's really all we'd done. So before we worry about the menu, let's just get to the actual system to detect when the player collects an item. This was pretty easy, as there's literally a scoreboard objective which goes up when a specific item is picked up. But unfortunately, we're going to have to slightly complicate this system. Collections aren't unique to each person, they're combined with the rest of the island members. To do this, I've added a player score to the corresponding hidden invisible armor stand on their island. And that's the actual collection detecting and storing done. Except that was the easy part. Then we had the collection menu and leveling to worry about. First, there's this main page item which tells you how many of the collections you've unlocked, as well as a percentage completion. And that was easy enough. I decided to remove progress bars, as let's be honest, they're completely pointless and require a lot more commands, which is just unnecessary. This, along with converting the Roman numerals to actual numbers, is the only thing which I didn't carry across into my version though, so other than that it looks identical. Then there was these category pages. There's so many changing things in each item, such as the fact that the text turns green if you completed the collection, for example. Therefore, I originally decided to simplify the problem by removing lots of this unnecessary detail, and then I'd come back to it later. So, the only information I originally added was the amount collected, the level the player was at, the next level, and the items required for a level up, along with the percentage progression to the next level. I wasn't really sure how I'd be able to add these small details without a ton more commands, especially later on in the item pages, where there's literally a different coloured stained glass depending on how far through you are with it. But then, a miracle happened. Sitting in my bed at 3 AM awake, I had the most amazing idea: to use loot tables. These contain lots of conditions, allowing us to place different items depending on the collection score, or level, without more commands. So I used these and managed to easily implement the text turning green and not saying your level or progress to the next level if you've completed the collection. Unstarted collections are now in grey dye, which means you won't be able to open the item collection page, and, to simplify over a week of work into one sentence, I managed to create a page for every single item and use these loot tables to get the stained glass panes working. As you can see, right now all of the pages just have question marks next to the rewards, and that's just because I haven't added the items yet. But when I've added the item, I'll straight away add it here. However, despite attempts to keep the menu optimized, it was still hurting my TPS, which is basically how much lag you're getting. Every time I opened the menu, it would really spike up. So I needed to improve this. Luckily, I had another 3 AM genius idea. Instead of refreshing the page every single tick, which is 20 times a second, I could just detect when the player clicked an item, and then refresh. Or in other words, the menu wouldn't have to run any commands except when the player ran a new page. This was huge! Before, the menu gave me twice as much lag as usual, and now it literally makes no difference to performance whatsoever. Brilliant. The last thing before collections were done was to detect when the player leveled up their collection and notify them in chat. This was easy enough to do, I'd say, and when it detects, it gives them the appropriate message in chat, so we did a pretty good job of that. It also increases the menu score, so when they come back onto the menu, it's fully updated. Time for what you've all been waiting for: generating the items. Somehow, getting fans to help me make the items had never crossed my mind when originally making the generator. The idea actually came from this beautiful human being called 𝐒𝐥𝐢𝐬. He's working on his own cool stat system, so I highly recommend you go check out his videos. When he first suggested it, I was, well, doubtful that it would work. But oh my, did it work. They managed to get what I thought would be weeks worth of work done in a few hours. At our peak, we had 20 different people working at the same time to make all the weapons, and then they would just instantly send me the download so I could quickly get all of them. I was getting weapons so fast that they were literally faster than I could save them. It was insane. Within 3-ish hours, I'd say we were already done with all the weapons. I was in complete shock. Then I thought, you know what? Let's make the most of this opportunity. So I let them know we were doing the armor too. And I expected them to give up, but nope. They actually really enjoyed using the generator, and by 2 AM in the morning, I'd received all 63 weapons, all 96 armors, sets and hats. Not bad for just half of a day. I woke up the next day to people's custom items they'd been making for fun, which was really nice to see. And then they kept asking me to do more. They'd even started listing potential things to do on the Trello page. And the generator wasn't really at the stage to do anything else. The only other thing they could really do was the tools. And so when I told them that, they instantly got to work doing them. Now I have all the pickaxes, axe, shovels and hose in Hypixel Skyblock too. As I said before, the generator can't actually create the abilities for us, so I'm still going to have to go over all of these items myself one by one in the future. But still, a massive thank you to everyone who helped with this. It would have taken so long for me to write up all of these descriptions by hand. So they've got us way ahead of schedule for the release. To finish off this action-packed episode, I'm going to make the crafting table open our custom crafting table instead of the default one. Should be pretty simple. Well, just like that, it now works. It took quite a lot of work making the crafting table open the custom page, which I achieved by detecting when the player places a crafting table, and then quickly replacing it with a barrel with this armor stand that is used to make it look like a crafting table. Big thanks to everyone who kept reminding me to do this. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Suggestions on what I should work on next episode are always welcomed. You can expect episode 5 in a couple of uploads time, I should say, so look forward to that. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like as it helps share it around to more people who might be interested. But apart from that, I wish you have an incredible day, stay safe, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay inside. Okay, bye.